Hello, Serendipitous here with another video for the board game shelf, and here is the Avatar Last Airbender beginner box for Magic the Gathering. So, I have, one of the big reasons I've never been gotten into Magic the Gathering, like in a big way, is there's just so many other games that I'm interested in. I'm more interested in Riftbound and Pokemon, but there's a lot about Magic the Gathering that I am interested in. And the Avatar set is phenomenal as far as I can tell. It is a wonderful recreation of, or a wonderful interpretation of this fantastic TV show and the world that is in it. And the Magic the Gathering is just like a very good fit for Avatar. And I've heard a lot of really great things about the about the Avatar set in general from people who are more acquainted with Magic the Gathering. So I'll admit I was tempted to get like a booster box or two of Avatar Magic the Gathering, or even like a Jumpstart box or something, to kind of prevent me from doing that. Cobweb and I talked about it, and we decided to get this instead, which is a good, first of all, it was very cheap. It was like $30, $35, something like that, which I was impressed by. And it teaches you how to play Magic the Gathering, and it also, you can kind of play it like Jumpstart a little bit, where you have these little 20 card decks, and you basically combine two of them to make your 40 card deck, and you just play, and you're ready to go there. The way that this works is that there is an Aang deck and a Zuko deck, and you kind of like go page. You each kind of follow along on your individual pages. There's even you kind of play a scenario out between the two of you and everything. And there's even little speech bubbles and everything there. So you both follow it page by page, and you also play on these nice little boards here that are kind of an odd size for a play mat, but it works definitely. They look kind of nice, and there's something you can use to play Avatar Magic the Gathering games. There's also this fun little image here of the 5 colors of Magic the Gathering and what each color sort of represents. And also I'm aware that, especially in pre-release, in the pre-release of this set, you could choose one of these 5 boxes. Each box represented a color and a major character in Avatar. Aang, Katara, or I forgot her name, Zuko, and Toph. Azula, I think, yeah, okay. So this is another sort of like extra like Riftbound box that we have used to kind of hold the extra stuff in this box here. So in here, there's basically a bunch of tokens, which are the sort of like extra things you can sort of summon from various decks, whether it be allies or soldiers, so forth. Reference cards, and also just a bunch of other like little markers for +1/+1 or -1/-1. And other things. And I also appreciate they gave a couple of, not just D20s, these are countdown D20s. Because normally a dice would have opposite numbers on opposite sides that would add to, for example, in this case, 21. So if there's a 20 on one side, there would be a 1 on the other, right? And that's the same, if there's a 19 on one side, then the exact opposite would be a 2, and so forth. That's not exactly the case here. It's hard sometimes to, for a normal 20-sided dice, to kind of, if you're using it to keep track of your life total, to kind of find the next number, right? But in this case, you start here with 1, and you see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The next number is always right next to it, right? So, and I think, I don't think we have a lot of countdown D20s, so I'm grateful for that. And there's one intended for the Aang deck and one intended for the Zuko deck, hence the yellow and the red there. So that's fantastic. But yeah, I also just really liked the idea of, I really like the idea of Jumpstart boosters, and that's what the Clue box does as well. And I've been tempted to get like a Jumpstart booster box just in general, at least a good one anyway, that has more than like 12 different archetypes or whatever. I'll just show you briefly what the archetypes in this box are. They're always the same. So we have the Zuko tutorial, we have the Aang tutorial, right? And you really just play with those cards, like just those 20 cards each when you are learning to play. But then later you can combine them with some of these other ones, such as one focused on earth bending, And we have one focused on water bending. One that's just like focused on spells, non-creature spell casting, just in general. Counters, buff your team. So putting like counters on your team to kind of like, give them the higher stats. Allies, creatures working together. 3 more. Attacking, so this is more of an aggressive half deck here. Big creatures, so this is definitely a green focused deck that, kind of gives you a staple of the color green in general. And then finally, firebending as well. Now, there might not be one for airbending, but you do have a bit of that in some of these others, like Ally or the Aang tutorial. Another thing I'll note is that the way these cards feel is a bit different from other Magic the Gathering cards, at least that I'm used to. Or maybe this is just how they are now, or maybe I'm just not used to Magic cards in general. There's kind of an extra, I don't want to say chalky feel, because there's no like residue coming off and everything like that. But that's a like if you can imagine that, it's kind of anyway, the way that the paper is it just sort of caught me by surprise. Nothing bad about that really. It just also might not work well. Work well being all mixed with other Magic the Gathering cards, which is fine because it's not intended to be mixed with other stuff. So anyway, yeah, it's cool to have this. Again, this is kind of this scratches the Avatar Magic the Gathering itch, so that we can focus our time, efforts, and money on other TCG stuff that we care more about, such as our Pokemon collections or Riftbound. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Oh, sorry about that. I'll have to tighten the stand here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, all the best.